Alright, so I'm going to show how to replace the screen on this MacBook Pro. This is a 13-inch model A1708. Okay, so what you're going to need is a pentalobe 1.2, pentalobe 0.8, and a T5 as well as a T4 screwdriver. Okay, so I'm going to have this as my T5. Alright, got the pentalobe here. Okay, and then we're going to get the let's see, T4, and then we'll also need, I think that's, oh yeah, you'll also need a T8. Okay, so I got a T8 bit here. Alright, so first thing you want to do, take the pentalobe 1.2 and remove all the screws from the bottom. On this model, you'll also want a suction cup to make it a bit easier. Okay, so we'll take out these screws. Alright, then we'll take out the 4 at the bottom here. Okay. The screws are different sizes, shapes, and lengths, so you do want to keep them in order. You don't want to get them all mixed up. If you already got them mixed up, the 2 middle ones down here are the shortest. Then the ones on the corners are slightly longer, and then the ones towards the back are the longest, and they have like a part where it's just smooth on the screw. It doesn't have the threads. Okay. Anyways, get the suction cup. It helps to kind of face it away from you. Use the suction cup, pull it up, and once you get a gap here between the casing, the bottom cover, and the case, you want to get your fingernails or a pry tool in there. Okay. Once you get your fingernail or pry tools in there, you want to go around to the side, and then I use my thumb on the case and then my fingernails to pull up on the little panel. Okay, just like this, and then I pull it up like that. Then you want to go around, do the same thing. The middle clips will unpop easily, so you don't really need to worry about those. Just make sure to pop the side ones. Alright, once you get the 2 sides out, then the middles are already going to be popped out. Then you want to put the MacBook up like this, vertical. If you have a soft padding surface like this, it helps because what we're going to do is going to yank down this cover. Okay, so what I do is I have my fingers over the back of the Mac like this, and then I use my fingers to push down on this piece here, this little fan vent, and then I grab this and pull it down just like this. Okay, this one came out pretty easily. Sometimes it gets stuck really strong, and once you do that, then you can actually get both out. Okay, so after you do that, you just take the screen, the cover, and set it aside. I am gonna have to clean out the dust here, so I'll do that in a bit. Okay, let's see here. Then what you want to do, take this piece off. Okay, I'm probably gonna pause the video and then clean the dust off after I disconnect the battery. All right, but just slowly peel this up. If the foam gets stuck to the bottom, it's okay. There's a good chance like you won't be able to get all the foam sticky pads to stick to this plastic adhesive strip. Okay, but it comes out just like this. Huh, interesting. I've never had that piece come off before, so that's not supposed to happen. Usually this plastic piece, I've never seen that come out before. So this piece, if you can see, now there's these exposed metal pieces. You don't want that, so you want to cover it back up. This piece came out and it's not supposed to. But anyways, let me zoom in and then take this out first. Alright, so first what you want to do, lift up this tab here. Okay, now that you have that tab out of the way, you see I have that thing in my... Then you want to flip this little latch up here. I don't know if you can see, but I flipped that latch up. Once you do that, you can pull this cable out. Okay, I had this thing stuck that came out, so I'm going to stick this back on top here. I'm guessing they use this, I don't know, to test the battery. I've never taken that out before. Okay, so we're going to cover that back up. Oops, it's not aligned right. There we go. Alright, so we're just going to cover those pins back up. Alright, then you take the T5 screwdriver and undo the screw, this big screw here. Okay, All right. Be careful not to drop that screw on the motherboard or the logic board. All right, set that screw aside. And then you want to lift up on this metal piece to disconnect the battery from the logic board, okay? And then you want to make sure that when you pull it up, it stays out of the way like that. As you can see, it's staying at an angle, okay? And now just to be safe, this is very important. Open up the screen and then press and hold the power button for about 10 to 15 seconds. All right, and once you do that, it'll drain any power from the board, or not all of it, but it'll drain it to where it doesn't get damaged if you move the LCD connector and connect it wrong. All right, so anyways, I'm gonna clean the dust off this thing and then I'll be back. All right. All right, I'm back. So this, you can tell, since I didn't mention, this is a 2017 model because the removable SSD here, it's pretty easy to remove. There's just the 2 screws here, and then you can pull this back. You might have to actually remove the 2 screws here to take the speaker out. But anyways, this is just a screen replacement video, so I'm not going to be showing that. So next, what we're going to want to do is remove all these little hinge covers and everything. So of course, again, make sure you drain the battery power by holding the power button down. Okay, so now we're going to have to use the T4 screwdriver bit. All right, and we're going to remove the 2 screws holding this plastic cover in place. All right, let's remove those 2. After you remove those 2 screws, you can lift the plastic bracket up and then pull it out. Okay, same thing with the other side. Remove the 2 screws. There's going to be quite a bit of screws for this. All right, same thing. Lift up the black plastic bracket or cover and then pull it out. All right, then you got all these little covers. Sometimes the new screen will have these metal covers on it, but we're going to remove them because my screen, I'm pretty sure, doesn't have that. Okay. Again, try and keep all these screws in order because they are different sizes, shapes, and lengths. You don't want to get them all mixed up. All right, take this metal bracket off, set it aside. All right, take this one out as well. Okay, this is going to be a somewhat fast-paced repair because I just want to return this and then I'm going to go. All right, so we got those 2 brackets off. Then there's these 2 spring-loaded ones. You want to remove those as well. I don't know if those actually do anything, but Apple put them there, so yeah, you have to remove them. Right, these screws are the longest ones, I believe. Okay, let's remove those 2, and then remove the 2 from this side. Okay. And I'm putting the screws like in the same layout that I'm removing them, so that way I know where they came from. Okay. Then we're going to remove the 2 screws holding this little cover that holds down the cable. Okay. Alright. There's a foam underneath to hold this cable down. Just take that out. Alright, and we're going to remove the 2 here holding the LCD cable in place. Alright, again, this is using the T4 screwdriver. Alright, now we can take this metal plate off, and then we can disconnect the LCD connector. I just use my fingernail. You can use a little plastic pry tool, but I find fingernails work the best, okay? So just like that, get underneath, and then pop it up. Alright. Okay, be careful with this, because if you damage this cable, then you will actually have to take the whole logic board out. I do have videos showing that, I'm pretty sure. The process is very similar on the all 2016 to 2020 models, I think. Alright, so we got all those screws out. Now we're going to have to switch to the T5. All right, and we're gonna remove the 4 screws holding the LCD board in place. Okay. All right, take this one out. All right, get the second one out. Get the third one out. And then there's 1 screw holding the wireless antennas in place that we also need to remove, also T5, right? So once you get the 4 holding the board in place, okay, we'll remove the 1 screw here that's holding the wireless antennas in place down there. Okay, and then we need to pop up the wireless antennas. I just get underneath the tails here. Sorry if my camera's like wobbling all over the place. All right, I just get underneath the tail and pop it up just like that. You can use a little plastic tool to do the same thing if you don't have fingernails. All right, everyone has fingernails, you just have to let them grow out, but yeah. All right, now we're gonna switch to the pentalobe 0.8. So this is like an iPhone type screwdriver bit, and we're gonna remove all the screws holding these in place. So there's 2, 4, 6 on each side. Okay. All right, just remove all 6 of those. You want to make sure you have a good screwdriver kit. The current screwdriver kit I bought, I just realized that the bits are kind of brittle, and I've had a few where it kind of broke and then it made it hard to remove these, so that's why I'm using different screwdrivers all for different ones. And then I just have that kit as like if I need to do an on-site and I need to work on it, so, and I don't have all these other tools. But yeah, so remove the 6 from this. Probably need to find a better toolkit for that kind of thing though. Let's see, maybe I should just splurge on the iFixit case. I don't know. I might buy that and then just to compare the difference and see if it's worth it. The problem with that is most people aren't going to be willing to spend so much to work on computers. So technically I just want the specific bits, T5, T4, pentalobe 1.2, pentalobe 0.8, and then a pH 0, 001, and I think that's it. The rest should be fine, even if they're slightly brittle, because those are the only ones that I use that are. Oh, and also the Y-shaped one for like iPhones. All right, so we got all these screws out. We're gonna take out the wireless board. So you just get underneath here, okay? And then I just use that to kind of pull it up, and then I slide my finger underneath the back of it, and that releases it. It's kind of like clipped in place or wedged in place. All right, then you can get the antennas out, kind of rotate it, swing the little connectors out, okay, just like that, and we got the wireless connector, the wireless board antennas out. All right, so the wireless card is actually this chip here, so the wireless antennas are actually built into the board. Okay, so we're almost done. Now what you want to do is open the screen all the way, okay? And then hang the screen off your desk, all right? Again, you want to open it all the way, not just partially, okay? And then we're going to use the T8 screwdriver and take out the 3 on this side, okay? 1, 2, 3, and usually these screws, when I put them back, I like to add red thread locker so that way they don't come loose again. Usually they hold in pretty tight and you don't have to worry about it, especially with the little plastic hinge covers that they put, but just to be safe I like to put it anyways. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, so now that we got all 3 screws undone, you can let the screen drop slightly. I use my lap to kind of hold the screen up and then now you can let the screen drop slightly and then just pull it up. Okay, might have to wiggle it around, and there we go, we got the screen out. Okay, so now you get the replacement screen. You want to make sure the hinges are opened all the way in the open position. If they're not open, you can use your screwdriver, just put it through one screw hole, and then you can use that to help as a lever to pull it open. Okay, peel off this tape that's holding the connector in place. Okay, when you peel this tape back, hold this board down. Okay, you don't want to damage the cables trying to peel this off. Just like this. Alright, so we'll set that tape out of the way. Right, remove this thing. And then you put this back just the same way. Let me zoom out a little bit so it's easier for you to see. So to put this back, the tricky part is you have to hold these cables up and out of the way. Okay, so you hold these cables up and then you drop this in place. Alright, once you get the hinges in, you can kind of wiggle it and let it drop in. Okay, then you kind of use your lap or whatever to help hold this up. Alright, and then what I'll do is I'll put in one screw on each side first. Okay, not too tight because I'm going to have to take them out and put thread locker on it later. But just like this. Alright, then you can peel the plastic off the back. I don't know if you can even see that, but I peeled this off the back of the screen. Okay. Slowly close it. Oh, is this just dirt? Or I hope that's not a mark because I told them it was a new screen. But anyways, once you do that, I'm going to try and clean that. But once you do that, loosen the screw a little bit. Alright. And then what I do is I use my 2 fingers on both sides like this to kind of pinch the 2 layers to make them flush with each other. And then once you make sure that's done, you can tighten the screws back down. We are going to have to take them out in a bit. All right, let me see about cleaning that piece off. Okay, I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol. Sometimes rubbing alcohol doesn't get stuff out and then you have to use water. But let me see if that cleans off. Okay, it's cleaning off. Should be okay. Yeah, it's just dirty. Okay. Alright, so we got that. Alright, now I'm going to use thread locker. Okay. And what I do is I'll take the one screw. Let me zoom back in a little bit since now you don't need to see it hanging off the desk. Okay. And I'll just add a little bit. So let me see if I can do this in view. I don't want to drip it on the computer, but you just add a tiny bit, just like this, if you can even see. All right, and put the screw in. So I'm just going to show that one, and then the rest I'm just going to quickly do it because I don't have time to show it on each one. Okay. Add the thread locker, put the screw in. Make sure to take this screw back out and add the thread locker to it as well. Okay. There we go. All right, get the other 2. Just like that. Okay. And tighten this one in as well. Alright, so now that we got all those screws with the thread locker, I did the middle one, right? I'm not really... Okay, yeah, I did. Oops, I took it out, so now I have to add a little bit back. Okay. Alright, now we got all the hinge screws back in. Can turn this back around. Make sure that you get the LCD connector on top. Alright, first thing you want to do is get these spring-loaded ones in place. It's a little bit tricky because you have to kind of twist them around. Okay, so oops, they're going to be like this, and then you got to kind of rotate them and twist them. Right, then you got to hold it in place, and then while you're holding it, get one of the screws. Make sure you switch back to the T4. Okay, and then put the screw in. Just like that. Tighten it down. Alright, get the other screw. Same thing, tighten it down. Alright, then you want to get the other side, same thing, rotate this spring thing around, hold it in place. Alright, tighten that down. Get the other one. Alright. So now we got all those spring-loaded ones in place. What you want to do is get this out of the way. Actually, we can put the wireless antennas first, but make sure you get this connector on top. Okay. Alright, let me zoom back out. The wireless antennas, you want to thread it back in. Okay. It's a little bit tricky. If you want, you can bend the wires to make it a little bit easier to straighten it back out. But I like to keep it like that. Alright, then rotate it and then slot it back in. Just like that. The middle part has a little bracket that you kind of have to keep it raised up slightly until you get it in place. And then you can push the center back in. It clips down. Alright. Now that you have that clipped down, we can go ahead and put back the pentalobe 0.8 screws. Alright. And I like to hold, I like to hold the bracket in place, pushing it as close to the frame as I can. Okay. Uh-oh, did I just drop it inside? Okay, be careful with the screws, you don't want to lose them. These screws are super tiny. They're somewhat of a pain. Alright. Get that, and then tighten that one in. Alright, so what I like to do is I like to do the two outside ones first, and then I'll do the rest after. So I'll get the other one. Oh. These freaking screws, they're not magnetic enough. Let's see. Okay, there we go. I had to magnetize my bit. Alright, tighten that in. If you're wondering how I magnetize my screwdrivers, I just get like a somewhat strong magnet, and then I just rub the magnet on it like that. So I have this magnet here. This one's not that strong, but I basically just rub it on the magnet like that. Okay. I have a much stronger magnet if that fails, but yeah. Alright. Alright, so basically now we're just going to put back all those screws. Let me zoom out. Alright, let's get the rest of these screws in. Go, last one. You technically don't have to put all these screws back in to test the screen, but I'm gonna assume the screen is okay. Sometimes I regret that, but you can actually plug the screen in and then test it without plugging in the wireless antenna, so you can actually do all of that without it. But if you do that, make sure you drain the battery again before you put it back to take this thing back out to do the wireless antennas. Okay, so if you decide to go that route, all right, then we're gonna plug the video cable back onto this. Oh, I'm gonna have to do it this way. Okay, let me put back the T5 screws here first, just so it doesn't move around. Okay, I like to put them loosely first so that way they're all aligned, and then I tighten them down after. Okay. Alright, now that we got all four in, you can tighten down the screws. Don't over tighten these. I've had one time where they don't thread it very well, and then it actually just pulled the thread out. So yeah, so now I don't tighten these too tight. Alright, and then you got the wireless antenna screw. Make sure to put that. The wireless antennas, to reconnect it, let me see if I can show this. So you basically just line it up over the antenna connector. Make sure that you have it lined up before you press down, or you can damage it. And the way I do that is I get it lined up. Okay, and then I just see if it moves around, if I move my finger or my fingernail on top, and if it doesn't move around, then I know it's lined up. Right, same thing with the second one. Alright, looks good. Pop it down. There we go. Okay, so now we got all of that in place. Now we're going to reattach the LCD connector cable. Alright, sorry if my head got in the way. Just line it up, push it down. Okay, we're going to switch back to the T4 screwdriver. We'll put this bracket on top. What I like to do is I like to use the little bracket to help me guide the screw. So I'll put the screw into the bracket first, and then I'll hold the other side to kind of use it as a guide. And then when I got it in place, you can screw it down. Okay, just like that. Grab the other screw. Tighten it down. Just like that. Sorry, my head's getting in the way again. Alright, so now we got all of that in place. Alright, we'll put this metal bracket in. Get the screw. Alright, put that in the bracket. Use that to guide it. Oops. This bracket's a little tricky to hold on to. Alright, just like that. There we go. Grab the next screw. Tighten that in place. There we go. Tighten that down. There we go. Okay. Then take the plastic brackets for the hinge screws. Put it in. You have to put it at that angle again so it goes underneath the metal part here. You don't want that to end up on top. Okay. All right. Just like that. Just like that. There we go. All right. Other side, same thing. Put it at an angle, drop it in. All right, I'm just assuming I already got everything working and the screen is good. Okay, tighten in that screw. All right, and then we got the last two metal brackets before we reconnect the battery. All right, grab that. If you're wondering, the foam goes more towards the center of the laptop. There's a little metal piece that's bent over. Not sure if it really matters, but I like to put it back the way I found it. And that's how I found it. Okay. Line that up. Push this one back on. There we go. Tighten the screws down. Right, last metal bracket. There we go. Tighten it in place. All right, so now we go back to the T5 screwdriver. All right, done with this. And we put back the big screw. It will automatically pull down that metal tab, so you don't need to worry about pushing it down. Just put the screw in. Okay, and then this piece, you use the little plastic tab to hold it. All right, it's a little bit tricky because it causes the connector to flex upward, but you grab that. See if I can show this. Right, then you use that. Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to see it because my finger will block the way, but basically use that to guide the connector in. Pull it all the way with the cable. Okay, it does show the gold pins a little, and then you just put that latch down. Okay, all right, and then after that you just put this piece back on. All right, same way we took it out. The way you align it, this little circle goes on top of that screw. Okay, just like that, and then you just push it down. Okay, all right, so there we go. This cover's a little dirty. I'm going to clean the dust off of it, and then I'll be back. All right, so I'm back. I'm getting a call. Hopefully you can hear me, but it's a spam call, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so anyways, to put this cover back on, let me zoom back out. Okay, to put the cover back on, you put it at an angle with the back or the bottom facing up, and then you have to slide it back in. Okay, so you don't have to angle it too much towards the back, but I slide one side in. All right, oops. I slide the one side in. Make sure this side is all flush, and then you go to this side and do the same thing. Hold down here so that the sliding clips can go in place. Here we go. And then go back to this side. Make sure both sides are flush, and then you can push the bottom cover back in, the middle as well. All right, and then you test it, and then you can put all the screws back in. So to test it, you do have to plug it back in. Most of the time, this model, it won't turn back on unless you plug it back in first. So let me get the plug. Okay, and we'll plug this back in. Oops, plug's on the other side. Oh, actually it's turning on without the plug. Okay, so it's turning on. There you can see, it looks like it worked okay. I'm gonna restart it, hold the Option key. Okay, the charge thing still works. Let's peel this off. Alright, and here you go. The screen looks good. So that's it. We're good to go. And usually once I change hardware on the Macs, I like to do a PRAM and SMC reset. I don't think the SMC reset is the same, but usually it's Control Option Shift on the left side and then the power button. If it works right, your computer will turn off. Normally you can see a charge light on the older Macs and you'll see like it goes from orange to green and then back to orange. So that's SMC reset. And then PRAM reset is with the computer off. What you do is you press the power button and then you quickly do Command Option P and R. So the screen will, usually it'll come on, you can see it go faint black, and then you'll see the screen go back off. So it already did it. And then once you do that, you just let go and it will start up normally. Okay, so wait for it to start back up normally. And there we go. So that's PRAM reset, SMC reset. Usually when I change any hardware components, I like to do that. I don't know their password, so I can't test the other stuff, but usually you also want to check the webcam. I'll probably contact them, see if I can get that information, and then, yeah. Alright, anyways, that's all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, like and subscribe, help others find my videos, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!